Hi everyone, Searing Frost here with another Python video. Today we'll be talking about dictionaries. Dictionaries, or dicts, are key value collections in Python. Using only dictionaries, you can get really far writing Python programs. They really are a do-it-all data structure. Dictionaries can hold values of any type, but the keys have to be hashable. Hashable basically means immutable. Only objects that can't change value can be keys. Some examples of keys are integers, strings, and even tuples. Non-keys would include things like lists because you can mutate lists. Strings are the most common key because of their versatility. There are three ways to create dictionaries in Python, much like lists. The first is using just curly brackets. Curly brackets are the simplest way to create dictionaries. All you do is open curly brackets, followed by key, colon, value, and separate your key value pairs with commas. For example, here we're creating a dictionary with two keys, both strings, and two values, also both strings. There is also a built-in dict function that I don't really use that often. It can take any mapping, like another dictionary, or it can take a zip of key value iterables, a list of pairs, such as two tuples, or keyword arguments. I'm going to go over some examples really quickly, but you can check the code in the links in the description if you want a closer look. In this first example, we're taking a list of keys and a list of values and passing them to the zip function to create a zip object, and then passing that to the dict function to create the corresponding dictionary. In this next example, all we're doing is passing dictionary D to the dict function and assigning the value to D2. Here, we're using a list of two tuples. The first value of each tuple is a key, and the second value is the corresponding value. This list of two tuples will create the corresponding dictionary. We can also use keyword arguments. The argument will be the key of the new dictionary, and the value will be the value. Most of this is fairly intuitive. The third way to create a dictionary is through a dictionary comprehension. Dictionary comprehensions are much the same as list comprehensions, but they're used much less commonly, though there are times when they can be useful. All you do is open and close curly brackets, and you have a key value pair, and then a for loop, and then an optional filter. In this example, this dictionary comprehension will give us the odd number smaller than 10 as keys, and the values will be the keys times 100. We've gone over creating dictionaries, but what if you want to add values to an existing dictionary? You can do this in two ways. The first is using square brackets. In this example, we're adding a new key, third key, and assigning it the value true. We can also overwrite existing keys. Here, we're replacing the value of my key with the value 5. The other way to add values to dictionaries is to use the update method. Using the update method, you can add values to your dictionary using the same arguments that the dict function takes. Here we've defined a dictionary with 3 keys and 3 values, and then we update it with the value 4 and the key 4. Keep in mind you can't just put a colon between a key and a value using the update method. This does not work. However, you can use square brackets to create another dictionary, and then add that using the update method. Dictionary values can be accessed using the key names. You can use square brackets just like with lists, but instead of putting in the index, you put in the key. In this example, we're getting the value of my key, which is my value. If the key is not present, like my missing key is not, you'll get a key error. To avoid this, you can use the get method. It will either return none or a default value that you specify. We can also iterate over dictionaries. Using the in operator, you can access an iterable of the keys of your dictionary. In this example, we're going through all the keys and using that to access the values and printing them out. If you want to access the keys and the values at the same time, you can use the items method. Here, we're assigning the key and value to K and V, and then simply printing them out. We can also remove keys from our dictionary using either the delete keyword or the pop method. Using the delete keyword, you just type del and then you specify the key you want deleted and it will be removed. If you use the pop method, you also specify the key as an argument to the method. It returns the value but also removes the key from your dictionary. I want to finish with default dicts. Default dicts are actually subclasses of dictionaries that can contain default values. They're defined with a type, such as list or int, and when you access keys, if the key does not exist, the value defaults to the empty constructor of the type passed in. It's much easier to understand with an example. Be sure to import default dict from collections, which is part of the standard library. So what if you wanted a dictionary of lists that you wanted to append to? You can always use the append method with a default dictionary even if the key does not exist yet. Another great use case for default dicts is using counters. Let's say you want to count the appearance of items in a list. You can create a default dict of int. If I want a dictionary to store these word counts, I can iterate through the list and update the counter's values. I know that when I add 1 to this counter, the default dict will default the value to 0, so I won't get a key error. Even though the output may look different from a normal dictionary, all the same methods will apply. Thanks for watching this introduction to dictionaries in Python. They really are, in my opinion at least, the most flexible and important data structure in the language. Knowing how to use dictionaries allows you to solve almost any problem. There are links to the code and my blog post on dictionaries in the description. I'll see everyone next time.